The homeless crisis in our country has gone from bad to worse.
As the crisis deepens, so has the criminalization of homelessness.
RV after RV parked here because people have nowhere else to go.
New data shows that homelessness in the United States is at an all-time high.
But there's one country that has redefined how nations can tackle homelessness. Finland is one of the only countries in the world to significantly decrease homelessness. Invisible People traveled to Helsinki to investigate.
I was walking areas in the city. If it was America, you would have seen countless homeless people.
With the leaders who made it happen.
The worse the situation is, the more important it is that you at least start a change.
Citizens living in housing first units.
Is your life better now in housing?
I don't wanna lie, it's not.
And everything is better when I live here.
And the staff that supports them.
A person needs a home, so the other stuff can happen.
You can never get so low that we will not be beside you.
Housing First comes from USA.
We changed the systems completely. We went all in with the Housing First.
And same time, this kind of camps disappeared.
In America, people don't want to give housing to homeless people. What would you say to them?
She would say that it saved her life and it will save others' lives too. And so that's why Housing First is so great, because otherwise she might be dead.
How has her life changed in housing?
She doesn't use drugs anymore, and that's quite big. Work.
Oma rytmi.
There's a rhythm in life.
Miten se sanotaan? Normaali elämä.
Normal life, which is what she wanted.
What's the favorite part of your apartment?
Sänky. Seuraava on keittiö.
Bed and the kitchen.
What is homelessness like in Finland?
Pahalta.
Very bad.
Pelottaa.
And it was very scary.
Sitten täällä on kylmät talvet.
Winters are cold.
Pitkiä.
And they are long.
Homeless is hell in Finland because you'll be real cold, real wet.
Not very nice. But where is it nice?
1990s, we still have 20,000 homeless people. And of course, at some point, there was a real struggle that there were many people sleeping on the streets. And you know, because the winters are really harsh here in Finland, they would also die on the streets. So I think that was a really the wake-up call that we need to do something and change the policies quite slowly. And then we get the rapid phase when we start the Housing First 2008.
That's when they went all in on Housing First. They renovated almost all of the shelters into Housing First buildings to give homeless people their own individual apartments. They also built more affordable housing across the country, and it seems to have paid off.
In 5 years, we both created the program and halved the long-term homelessness in Finland.
Homelessness in Finland has changed quite dramatically since 2008, for example, in the city of Helsinki, which is the capital city. You will not see tents, sleeping bags, or rough sleepers whatsoever. We want to end homelessness, or we want to end rough sleeping. I think, you know, some people would have laughed at us that, you know, that's not possible ever, but, you know, I think we have proved them wrong.
We spent days on our own in Helsinki looking for homeless people, and we couldn't find them. It was surreal. So, are there really none left? Juha told us this isn't a visible phenomenon, so we needed to go inside to find them.
Stopping it there, and welcome to Mika Reaction Reviews, where we react to things on the internet. Today we have an interesting video for you. This is uploaded by Invisible People. They do go around and they interview homeless people, or people who are going through struggles, and try to put a face of humanity on those who feel like maybe there's a lack thereof. I think what they do is good, and I think their intentions is good, and I applaud them for that. Today's video was uploaded 3 days ago, and it has over 500,000 views. And basically the title of this video is Finland Solved Homelessness. They said they had 20,000 in Finland, right? Or at least in this main area where they're filming. Let's see how many homeless people live in LA in general. So according to Google, there's 75,518 people in Los Angeles alone. Not California, Los Angeles County, almost 50,000 within Los Angeles City. So if you've ever been in Los Angeles County range above is basically an umbrella for multiple cities, and then there's Los Angeles City. But LA County, there's 75,518 homeless. In this video we just watched, and we're going to continue to watch it, they said 20,000. Just keep that in mind. Now let's look at the homeless in America. 650,100 people were experiencing homelessness in 2023. Over 500,000. And in this video, 20,000. I want you to keep that in mind, because they kind of take digs at the US of like, why can't you possibly cure your homeless problem when we can, when our 20,000 homeless, when we have over 75,000 in LA County alone and over 500,000 in the US. Now, this is not me putting down the Housing First in Finland. I think they did an amazing job seemingly curing the homeless problem in Finland, or Helsinki, wherever this was filmed. I think they did an amazing job, and I applaud them. I give them a standing ovation. This is not me demonizing that. This is not me saying they did a terrible thing. I think they did a good thing, and I think the YouTube channel Invisible People are good people and have amazing intentions. I think trying to compare this to the US is a little bit naive, if not disingenuous. Don't get me wrong, I have my criticisms on how the US deals with the homeless. Very much so, and we will get into that. I do have empathy for people. I think it's terrible that people have to live in the streets, especially when it's freezing cold. I cannot take the cold. I don't know how I would survive sleeping on the streets in the cold. But my biggest gripe with this video is going to be the comparison of the US and Finland. That is my biggest gripe, and almost like kind of the like self-righteousness, like, nah, we can do it, why can't you? Americans are just terrible, you're just selfish, you just don't care about homeless people. And yeah, some Americans are like that, but it's not as easy. And there's one big difference that they're not talking about in this video that I'm going to talk about at the end of this video. That is the biggest difference between Finland and the US, or Helsinki and the US, that they don't talk about, and this is why you can't compare the two. And if you don't know what Housing First is, Housing First means before rehabilitation, before rehab, before the person, if they're an addict or have a substance abuse problem, that they don't have to do anything. They don't have to prove themselves worthy to get the housing. The housing is first, and then after that we worry about everything after. The housing is completely free, but it's there in this situation in Finland. It is their home. They have it. They have a lease. It's their home forever. It never gets taken away from them. I think the only thing that maybe they can do to get kicked out is become violent. Other than that, this is theirs forever. This is good. You don't got to do anything. Even if you stay a raging heroin addict, whatever, this is yours. Everything in it is yours. This flat screen TV, the bed, the furniture, everything is free and it's all yours. I don't know how far we're going to get into the video, because I'm not going to react to the whole video because it's almost 30 minutes long. So if you want to see the whole video, you can go to the Invisible People's YouTube channel, where you can go watch the whole video. But they also have a sauna, a gym.
Every building we visited had jobs and activities for its residents. We're talking recording studios, gardens, gyms, outdoor fireplaces, finished saunas. It's clear they're thinking less about housing numbers and more about improving the lives of each individual person living there.
All that stuff, all the luxury amenities, some luxury amenities is all free and it's all forever. They have to do nothing for it. That's Housing First. So if you didn't know what Housing First was. But let's continue with the video, because I have more to say about it. But let's continue, see what the good things that they've done in Finland. And yes, the US can learn from them, but you can't compare the two. But let's continue.
So welcome to our organization, No Fixed Abode. You entered to our day center Vepa, where people who are sleeping rough, they can come here. And this is kind of living room. We serve every day a warm meal, mainly the peer support and also the professional guidance how to find apartment. The Housing First started in our organization, and we are still running the first Housing First unit, Sallikoti, here in Finland.
How does this connect with the city services?
Our functions are separated from the city services. We do lots of collaboration with the city. People who are doing the outreach work come here in regular basis and we share information and kind of like what is going on with people who are sleeping rough.
Onks kaikki ihan ok? Ei mitään hätää, ei tarvitse meidän takia nousta. Hello, I'm doing street work in streets of Helsinki. I want to invite you to see outreach work. So people who are walking their dogs and walking around, if they find tents, they maybe make a call. Sometimes we find a new one, get informed for a new place. Yeah, it's really under a bridge. Of course, it's so different before 2010 because there was so much people rough sleeping in this kind of tent camps. 2010 and 2013 have built many new places, and same time this kind of camps disappeared.
Housing First is an idea where people have their own rental contracts and own homes, and they also get support in the housing. Earlier it was like that you had to kind of like earn to get a house, you had to like rehabilitate from abuse problems and things like that.
But the Finnish people let one important truth guide their policy.
It's kind of impossible to rehabilitate from the streets, so a person needs a home. So the other stuff can happen after that. Everyone needs a home. We try to make sure that everyone gets that opportunity.
And that sounds incredible, but we wondered, how can Finland possibly keep up with the demand? Aren't more people falling into homelessness every day there, too? So we asked Finland's former housing minister, who spearheaded the entire project.
The housing market do not work perfectly. We need also to regulate part of the markets, not the whole, not at all. And the way we have done it has been in Helsinki, that we have built affordable housing where both the federal state and the city subsidizes this construction actually quite a lot.
So this is one of our buildings, constructed by Y Foundation, Y-säätiö. It's meant for people with low income. We have built this one actually together with the Living Music Association, which means that there is certain parts of the apartments are reserved for low income rock musicians. There is a rehearsal space for the musicians and those kind of things. So the city of Helsinki has decided that there has to be at least 25% affordable housing. So people with different backgrounds, different income levels, they share the same playgrounds and same services. And I'm really proud that the city of Helsinki has decided to do that.
So affordable housing is dedicated to reduce homelessness and give low-income people a chance to get a flat even in the cities. But then that is not the way you can tackle the severe homelessness, and there you need different kind of methods. We then had the Housing First concept.
We are in a housing unit, Pessi.
The low-income housing, I think, is a really good idea. When I went back to the U.S. and visited for 6 months, about 5 months ago now, I could not understand why the cost of living in the U.S. is so freaking high. It's too freaking high. I don't understand it. Maybe some economists can explain it to me and break it down why the cost of living is so high in the U.S. But still, then I would still think it is too high, and I think there has to be a way to bring down the cost of living in the U.S. I think it doesn't have to necessarily be low-income housing. It can just be lowering the cost of living in the U.S. period, so people do not become homeless. I think with I applaud them for doing it. I think that's a great idea. I will say, let's say I lived in New York and I'm paying $3,000 a month for a shoebox, and the person next to me gets the same shoebox absolutely for free and get all the amenities that I have to pay for every month absolutely for free, I would feel a certain way about that. I would literally just stop paying my rent, go lay on a sidewalk and claim homelessness, and then ask for my apartment back absolutely for free. So I do have I would feel a certain way if I'm working a 9 to 5, slaving away at a job that I hate to pay rent when the person next to me doesn't have to pay a cent for the same rent, for the same luxuries, for the same amenities, I would feel a certain way. But I do agree with lower income housing. I think that should be a thing, but I also think just lowering the cost of living, period, would also help with the homeless situation. But anyway, let's continue.
Right now, our tenants who live in this floor, they can make food together, and they also take care of the floor cleaning and such kind of things.
Just moved in. They come to my penthouse. That's my koti.
It's his home.
This is my home.
How long was he sleeping rough?
He left his step-parents when he was 15, and he was living in a hallway.
How long has he been in housing?
13 years.
13 years in housing. Is this his longest time in housing?
This 15 years is the longest period ever.
How has his life changed in housing?
No.
His life is more orderly right now because he doesn't use constantly drugs. He's doing substitute treatment for opioids.
How did you survive homelessness, especially in the cold?
He knows how to open doors without a key. He has some kind of tool.
All right, we're gonna stop it there, guys. Again, I'm not gonna react to the whole video. They continue to talk about the fact that it's really hard to get off of drugs and substances or addiction when you're living on the streets, and I completely and utterly agree with that. When you have to live that lifestyle, and I think they even they interviewed another lady that says she used just because she was always terrified that something was going to happen to her, and she used just to cope with that. And a lot of addicts become homeless because they're addicts, but a lot of homeless are addicts because they need to just deal with the situation that they're in. And so when you have no stability, no safe place, no security, no foundation, you can't then ask someone to get clean. You can ask, but it's going to be extremely difficult. And I do see that that is a problem and an uphill battle for someone who's trying to get off the streets and to get housing to not be an addict. I guess if the will and the motivation is strong enough, you can do it. But I completely agree and I understand that. However, they do continue in a video where there are people who have housing first who continue to be very much regular drug users, leaving their apartments pigsties, destroying the property, and they do continue with this enabling behavior of well, how can you ask somebody to clean up if they never had a house to clean? I think if you're a grown person, you should know how to pick up a piece of trash off the floor. That's the problem I do kind of have with this, just allowing people to continue to use and then enabling their drug use. That's the problem I have with that. I think in the long run that might backfire and bite them in the ass. However, I still think they're doing a good thing, and I do agree with a lot of stuff they said, it's hard to ask someone not to be an addict if you keep them in the streets, especially in the freezing cold temperatures, and they have no stability. I do agree that the cost of living is too high, so I'm okay with low income housing, but I think that the longer term solution should be just lowering the cost of living, period. And I do think that homeless people should be treated like human beings. So I agree with a lot of stuff they're saying. The thing that I just disagree with was this and they continue to do it sort of later in the video, this comparison to the US and Finland.
In America, people don't want to give housing to homeless people. What would you say to them?
She would say that it saved her life and it will save others' lives too. And so that's why Housing First is so great, because otherwise she might be dead.
In America, we're often selfish. People are driven by what's in it for them. I mean, we can't even get affordable health care for everybody. So how are we going to change culture so that we can have affordable housing for everybody? We know how to end homelessness. We've known for a long time. This week, we've been able to see how Housing First implemented at scale can solve homelessness. But the question remains, will Americans do what we need to do to fix the affordable housing crisis and to start providing homeless people with the housing and the support services they need.
The biggest problem, besides the giant homeless population that America already has, is the hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants crossing the border every single day, wanting the same social benefits that the homeless and the low income are already receiving in America, usually bumping those people off the list to give it to the illegal immigrants. That is the biggest issue, and they never talked about that. Not only is their homeless population extremely minute compared to not just LA County, but America at 20,000, they're not worrying about and they're not taking care of literally hundreds of thousands of new homeless people or new lower income people coming into your country wanting the same benefits. Do you think if America said, hey, we will give anybody who needs it free housing, free furniture, you can keep it for life, and you have access to free food, free entertainment, a sauna, a gym, all yours, and you can do whatever you want with it, you don't think that that number from 100,000 to 200 wouldn't turn into 400,000 people coming over the border every single day if they knew that that would be accessible to them? That's the thing they never talked about, and that's the biggest difference between Finland and a place like Los Angeles or LA County. But I think they're doing a good job. I just had a little bit of an issue of the comparison, kind of like, suffragists, you guys are just evil, mean people. That's why you don't want to help homeless people. That's the biggest problem I have. So yeah, but other than that, I think they're doing an amazing job. Let me know what you guys think of this video and what I said and what you saw in the video in the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. You can donate, keeps me on this platform, and you guys have an amazing and beautiful day.